Christine and Tim.
Christine, Sofran, Nitin.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Well, hello and welcome, everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. I am definitely really pumped for today. We're going to be together for about 5 days for the Get Booked as the Speaker Bootcamp. So I want to give you, first off, a warm welcome on this fine Monday. You're going to be with me again for 5 hours this week for this bootcamp. We're going to be talking about a lot. We're going to be sharing a lot of insight, strategy, perspective to really get you on the Global Speaker Circuit. And so for those of you who are here, because it's your first time joining me for one of these sessions, please comment hi on the chat so that way I can know this is your first time joining us. But for those of you who are coming back, welcome back. Please comment alumni. That's when you've been a part of my community before in some shape or form. You've been a part of a webinar. You've been a part of to go. All right, so I see that okay. So we got a good mix of people on the session today. So I'm really happy to welcome you guys. So I see a couple of highs. This is your first time, so welcome again to the session. And of course, I am going to send a brief reminder that you do not need to wait to Q&A to ask questions. So post your questions in the comments. As I see them coming through, I'm going to answer them immediately. I want this to be a conversation. And today, as we kick off day one, I want to make sure that you are clear with your intention, but also clear with your takeaway from each day of today's content, but also for the entire week, because we have a lot to cover. So I just want to send a reminder: you do not need to wait till Q&A to post your questions, because sometimes we forget. Ask your questions. Let me know how you're doing. We got a couple of highs, so I want to give a warm welcome to our beautiful ladies and gentlemen who are on the session. So hello, Karen. Hello, Kizia. Hello, Achi. So please send your love and hellos. I want to give you guys a warm welcome because, you know, nowadays when we're in a virtual space together, a lot of times we forget that, you know, we're still in a room full with humans. We're interacting. You decide to engage with me today. So I am so blessed and excited to be with all of you today. So 5 days, every day, same that you book for speaking engagements, because I know that's where week program. Okay, so today, obviously, you know, it's an Easter Monday, so a lot of people are here really to get their bearings and understand, you know, really the fundamentals of how to actually leverage public speaking opportunities to accelerate your career, because the market, the world is just changing. Things are shifting very, very fast. And the market has really made it in a way where if you don't stand out, if you don't have a strong brand, a strong personal positioning presence, both digitally and offline, opportunities, and not just from an economic standpoint, but from a growth standpoint. We want to position you for success. And so this is a great for those of you who feel like you I see we're going to have a lot of technical glitches today. Please comment if you can see me and hear me. Apologies for that. I'm seeing a lot of comments. People are saying that they're experiencing and technical glitches. I want to make sure that I'm on and ready for you guys. All right, so let's dive in. So as stated before, we're going to be here for 5 days. Apologies for the technical glitches in the beginning. Wanted to make sure that you guys are able to see my screen and hear me loud and clear. Now, as stated before, I am a serial entrepreneur who have been in the speaker circuit for over a decade. So I've been Hey everyone, I'm back. I want to make sure everyone can hear me and see me. I'm seeing that people are saying my screen is frozen. I'm not sure what's happening. Everyone can see me loud and clear now? And immense apologies if you guys are getting bad technical reception on my end. Everyone, how about now? Can everyone see me now? Okay. All right, so let's refresh, okay? So I believe everyone can see me and hear me and feel my energy now coming through the screen, hopefully. Apologies for that. So let's get started. So today we're going to kick off the Get Booked as a Speaker Bootcamp, and we're going to cover a lot over the next couple of days. Now, the schedule that you all received for the week is pretty intense, okay? And when it comes to, the intensity of today's conversation, many of you might be here for different reasons. Obviously, maybe you are here because maybe you've hit a wall and you're like, look, I want to get my, career on a new momentum. Some of you might be already in momentum and you're just like, look, I want to get it to the next stage. And many of you realize that, public speaking is one of the most fundamental ways to not only get exposure and visibility, but economic revenue, opportunities, introductions. And so this conversation for the entire week is to set you up for success, to help you get booked and paid and recognized as a global public speaker. Now, I've been on the global speaker stage for over a decade. I've spoken at every major stage you could think of. And I will tell you that I'm very passionate about sharing insights and strategies to get other people on the global speaker circuit, because not only have I recognize that, for a lot of people, it's actually quite difficult to get on the global speaker circuit. That, if I've gotten on the speaker circuit through trial and error, either someone invited you, someone that you know, or maybe you volunteered and raised your hand and say, hey, I'm ready to speak, and something that you could read personally, hundreds, private guys, or, private sector. I mean, it has really been truly a phenomenal journey in speaking at different institutions and really being able to connect with different institutions and different programs over the past decade. And one thing that I will say, I want to just make sure I can get my screen back up here. I think some of you guys are saying that you're still. All right. This seems to be 10 minutes of technical glitches right now. We did a whole technical run through and everything was fine. And now I'm seeing a lot of technical difficulties. Want to make sure everyone can hear and see me now. Okay. So going back to, okay, people are commenting they can see now. Okay, hopefully this does not happen again. If I see that there's more technical difficulties, we'll do another troubleshoot again. We did a whole 1 hour run through, me and the team. The team is telling me that they're also seeing the glitches on their end. And we'll see where it takes us, because I don't want to make this an inconvenience for many of you guys. I want to make sure you guys are getting as much insight from this session as possible. So with that said, I just wanted to share with you my background of speaking at, dozens of different conferences, whether it's the TED stage, whether it's the United Nations, World Economic Forum. I've spoken for LinkedIn, the U.S. State Department. I have been in the speaker circuit for a while, and I could tell you closing speaking engagements is not what it used to be. And my hope by the end of this week is to really not only give you more of awareness of how the speaker landscape has shifted, because no one is saying this information publicly, right? A lot of people who are in the speaker circuit, they kind of keep their strategies and insights to themselves, right? Because they want to stay in the speaker circuit. But I'm in a space where I have not only an abundance of opportunity, but I'm also getting frustrated with the industry. You have to understand, being in the speaker circuit, you're seeing the same players over and over and over again. And one of the things about me is not only am I in the global speaker circuit as a global speaker, speaking at multiple conferences, multiple events, multiple programs throughout the year, I'm also an event organizer. My company, the Global Startup Ecosystem, we host hundreds of events annually. And we are always struggling, looking for fresh new faces to speak our events. So if I'm dealing with this problem, I'm telling you, when we speak to other organizers all the time, when I'm in the green rooms, when I'm, doing an amazing job speaking for a client, they always ask me, can you please recommend another speaker? Can you please recommend another person that we can invite to our events? And so what I've seen is, even when I do recommend speakers, a lot of them don't have their talk ready to close the deal. A lot of them don't have a budget. They don't know what to ask in terms of speaker fees. A lot of them are not branded on social media as public speakers. So it leaves a lot of questions. And a lot of times the people I want to recommend are not positioned for success, are not positioned for these opportunities. If that's you on this call, I want to change that, because I'm really on a mission to get more diverse faces on global stages. And I want to make sure that you're prepared and positioned for success, because a lot of you do not know how to position your brand as a public speaker to really, you really take your expertise and your experiences to another level. So that's a little bit of my background and why I'm here with many of you to help you along this journey to make it easier. So my name is, again, Christine and Tim. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm a global tech ecosystem builder. I've been in the speaker circuit, as said before, for over a decade. And I will tell you, in the past 10 plus years of building several major globally award-winning companies, I've not only generated revenue for each of my companies, I've launched programs and initiatives with global governments. I've also been able to grow and build my family. I am a mother of 4 amazing kids. My husband and I, we travel with them, we engage with them. I have a farm. I mean, my lifestyle is, thanks to the blessings and the strategic mentorship that I've received over my career, has really been a blueprint for me to grow it the way I've always wanted it to be, right? And of course, no one's life is perfect, but when it comes to my speaker career, I will tell you, it has been an amazing journey. I want to share all the strategies and insights I could possibly give you today and along this week to help you along your journey in the speaker circuit. So I want to give you guys an official welcome to the Get Booked as a Speaker Bootcamp series. This is the ultimate 5-day free program series to really introduce the next wave of global speakers to help you get booked, get paid, and get positioned for success, so that way you can accelerate your career by positioning yourself as a thought leader, as an influencer. You have already built the credibility throughout your career. Now it's time to bring that insight and that expertise on global stages, because people need to hear you and your journey, your strategy, your insights. There are a lot of people out there who are looking. I mean, I can't stress this enough. Event organizers are looking for clients like you to grace their stages, and I'm here to help you win. I want you to win and attract opportunities. All right. Now, the timing of this conversation couldn't have been more, more crazy, right? There's so much happening economically speaking. Many of you, when we ask you, tell me on the chat, why are you specifically here? Are you here because you want to accelerate career opportunities? You want a new stream of revenue? You just want, to be able to position yourself for success. Maybe you see someone in your peer group who is constantly on global stages, and you know that you have the oomph and the insight to be 10 times better, but you're not getting the invitations or the opportunities. If this is you, I know this timing is so important, because the economic uncertainty that's ahead is only going to grow. So being able to position yourself to diversify your income, diversify your strategy, really helps you stand out, but also really have a resilient career in this we're doing. And many times I ask people, why do you want to be a public speaker? Why do you want to, be on stage? And today, as we kick off the first session of this series, today I'm going to introduce you specifically the speaker booking landscape. Because a lot of people want to be public speakers, want to get on stage. They know the potential, they know the benefits, but they don't understand the landscape. They don't know who are the people with budgets who are actually trying to close you and looking for you. Who are the people who are actually actively looking for you to speak either remotely, to fly you out to their event, to fly you out to their program. And a lot of times Not only do many of you do not understand the speaker booking landscape, which is changing a lot lately, all right? Some of you don't even know how to increase your visibility in the industry so you can be seen. Because it's one thing to go out there and position yourself for speaking engagements. Some of you don't even know how to attract speaking engagement opportunities because you don't know how to position yourself. Second, I said this before, I've spoken to so many people where they say like, oh, I go to an event and they ask me to recommend speakers. And a lot of people, when I want to recommend them, their profile is not optimized for success. They don't know what speaker fees to request, and they don't have a signature talk or a message that they can rinse and repeat that they are known for, that people could book them and say, yeah, you're the person I'm looking for, and you're the person I want to speak to and have on my stage, okay? So that's what we're going to be talking about. And of course, I want to be able to share with you again that this is going to be not just theory, this is practical conversation from my experience for being in the global speaker circuit for over 15 plus years. I've been in the game for a while. And I shared a workbook, comment workbook. If you still did not get your workbook, the workbook is really going to be really helpful for you to, write down content from this week, really make sure that you're staying on point with me throughout the session and have the information that you need to be optimized throughout the week, because this is going to be working sessions throughout the week as well, okay? So comment workbook. If you still did not receive your workbook, my team will DM you immediately to get you over that workbook so that way you could be able to leverage it and use it during today's session. Now, before we begin, this is the insight. I'm going to kick off with insights that I know people are not telling you, okay? A lot of people are on the speaker circuit. And this is one of my biggest frustration. It was very hard for me to find a mentor or someone who could honestly tell me what it takes to not only be successful in the speaker circuit, but how to navigate it. So I'm going to share with you some of the trends that have really shifted the global speaker circuit to make sure that you know how to be ready and positioned for opportunity, okay? First things first. The new change in government has really changed a lot of budgets and the way people are structuring their events for the next couple of years, okay? Obviously, with the U.S. market is the most dominant and global market on the planet. So when things are happening in the U.S., no matter where you're coming in from, I usually have a huge international community that's following me in my community in terms of content like this. And I will tell you, the reality is the U.S. market is still the most profitable and largest market to get booked for paid speaking engagements on the planet. I can't stress that enough. And with that said, when there are political changes, government changes, new shifts in the political space, it does affect how event organizers plan, including myself. It affects corporate budgets. It affects timelines, how they close and book. These are things that are affected. And one thing that I will say is that people are not slowing down. Now they're just practicing a lot more discernment when it comes to selecting speakers. So there was a conversation on LinkedIn the other day where someone was saying, like, it's getting really difficult to close speaker engagements. And I was very shocked to hear that, because if anything, I'm seeing a surge in bookings of speakers right now in this market, because now people in corporate environments, and again, you got to know where to look. They need more motivation. They need more insights. They need more fresh ideas coming into their institutions. So actually, the trend is actually increasing where more and more speakers are needed on the global circuit. And what's happening is, even though more speakers are needed, the demand is increasing. A lot more people don't know how to position themselves in today's market. So this is a trend that we're seeing. There's a conflict of alignment here. And for many of you, I want to make sure I break that barrier for you first to help you understand that there is strong demand for speakers like you in the market. And my job here is to help you see that and also see how to position yourself. The second thing is the requirements have changed to close speaking engagements as shared before. Before, you could have a really nice website, a really great speaker reel, and that was it. Maybe a couple topics you sprinkle, and you can speak on multiple topics. Now, this conversation of discernment is so crucial. You cannot be scatterbrained speaking on multiple different topics. People want to know you for that one thing. So, for example, when I first started on the speaker circuit, I could be able to speak about my background, my credibility in the entrepreneurship space. I can talk about my background growing up as a diaspora. I could talk about multiple things. But as my career evolved, I realized that organizers were picking me because of one signature talk that I had, which was at the time and still to this day, Entrepreneurship Without Borders. So some of you have probably 10 different topics. And I'm here to tell you, The goal at the end of this week, you're going to pick one signature topic that you're going to be known for, right? And then from that, you're going to build immense credibility very, very quickly, momentum, because once people could select you for that one thing, believe me, it will open up doors for other topics and subtopics that you could branch into that they could probably select you for to speak at their event. So the requirements have changed. The signature talk is your product. That's the most significant thing that you need to have on you. And I'm going to speak more about this, I believe, tomorrow, about that signature talk and how to reposition that. The other thing that I'm seeing is that a lot more players are coming into the market. I see a lot of people, what they're doing on LinkedIn is that they just add the word speaker, and that's how they brand themselves as a speaker. I'm a speaker now because I put the word speaker in my profile. That's not going to work, right? When you are an actual speaker, someone that is going to get paid to speak at an event, it's more than you just slapping the title on your profile. They need to see that, again, that you have a signature talk and that you have credibility. And I'm going to share with you one thing that I've seen is that people are still using the old ways and the old tactics to get booked for speaking engagements. What they're doing is they're volunteering. How many of you, comment if this is you, say me if you're in the chat, where you're volunteering your time for free to speak on multiple different speaking engagements and it's not working. You're not getting paid for it. Comment me in the chat if one thing that you're doing as well is that you're emailing hundreds of people to book you for speaking engagements, but you just come off as spam at the end of the day. And you're just frustrating people. You're not getting any responses. People are not, engaging with you. If that's you as well, I'm telling you, the old way was that type of bombardment and that simple way of just saying, hey, I'm a speaker, let me get booked. That does not work anymore in today's market. What works now is, as stated before, is having that signature talk. And the last thing I will say, and this is a huge trend that is happening, this might shock you, people are no longer looking for experts. People are looking for experienced people who have traction in doing something worthwhile. What does that mean? In the past, you have all the certifications in the world, and that's what got booked. And, maybe you were someone who was a certified, life coach, and you got booked because you were certified and had your degrees. Now, people are not really looking just for certifications and experts. People are looking for people who just sincerely, who have done it in the past, got traction, got testimonies, have people that are really excited to vouch for them and say like, hey, this person is really good at what they do. People are looking for experiences, not expertise. So this is a huge trend that's happening that's affecting the global speaker circuit. So with that said, today, as you listen to today's conversation on how to leverage public speaking opportunities to really accelerate your career and this competitive market that we're experiencing right now, I want you to also think about, where are you in your career? And what's one or two things that you have accomplished that you can help other people replicate? And that's going to be the topic that we're going to double down on for us to start attracting speaking engagements. Okay. So I see a comment in chat. And again, you guys could, bring your comments and questions. I will answer them as they come through. And Sherry just shared, I've been on dozens of stages and platforms, all for free. I'm done, providing decades of experience and insights without compensation. Comment I or yes if this is also you. Yes, back in the day, you gave your dues by just speaking for free at multiple events. What's happening is people are stuck speaking on a circuit for free and not getting paid. And that's really all about positioning. You probably don't have a signature talk that people will pay for, which is your product, and know who to target. I can also, call out that some of you are only pitching event organizers to speak and not people with budgets at companies who are looking for your talk and your conversation to come on their stage. So these are things that I'm going to be addressing this entire week. It's going to blow your mind because you're going to realize like, wow, I didn't realize how easy it was to get booked and paid just by targeting the right, provider who actually has the budget to pay me to speak. Okay. So we'll talk about that. So with that said, I want you guys to bring up your workbooks. If you don't have your workbook, I see Aaliyah's like, yes, this is me, right? Bring your workbooks, and on your workbook on the first page, I'm going to ask you a couple questions to why you're trying to break it into public speaking. And the first thing I usually ask during these sessions is, what is your biggest challenge right now? Okay. because people are coming at this with different angles, different issues. And I want to give you guys, when I ask this question, what challenge you're facing right now, things have shifted for a lot of people in the past year since I've been doing this bootcamp program. I did this bootcamp program last year. And some people have comment one in the chat. If you are struggling just to find speaking engagements, period, maybe you don't know how to leverage Eventbrite, maybe you don't know how to leverage Google Alerts, maybe you don't know the event job boards that are looking for speakers, you just don't know where to find the engagements. Whether it's within your network or databases, you don't know where to start. Comment one if that's you. Probably the biggest one that I'm seeing people are frustrated with right now, and Sherry just, commented, and I appreciate her candor, is speaking constantly for free and not being able to find paid gigs. By the way, for those of you who are struggling to find paid gigs, why do you think it's hard for you to find a paid engagement? Is it because you don't know where people are looking for paid speakers, right? I'm seeing comments right now. People are streaming them in now, all right? A lot of people are streaming in the comments right now, okay? Okay. I'm seeing people are coming in, okay? So a lot of people, some of your frustration is you're doing the free engagements, but you don't know how to get paid. Let me ask you this. For those of you who are finding free engagements where you're doing the engagements to get into visibility, many of you, if you're not getting the paid engagements, how many of you have ever stopped to ask any of the people that you paid, that you did free engagement for, if they had a budget for paid speakers? How many of you are actively negotiating for your net worth? Okay. I'm seeing people are coming in saying they're coming in hot with number one. Okay. The third question I'll ask, how many of you are, maybe you've got a paid engagement once or twice, but you don't know how to make it consistent. This is probably a huge one where people know that there are paid engagements, but they find it very difficult to really be consistent on the circuit. All right. I'm seeing a lot of responses now. You guys are doing very well. Keep the energy coming. Okay. And the last but not least, the other big one is some of you kind of know where to find the engagement. Maybe you don't know how to close the deal. You don't know what fee to ask for. You don't know what requirements to request, hotel, accommodation. You don't know how to get on virtual speaking engagements where you don't have to travel, where you could get paid just to speak from the comfort of your home. So whatever your challenge is, I want you to comment on the thread so that way I can see where people are, and let's start addressing those challenges, okay? Now, I always tell people today is day one. We're just trying to make sure that you get an overview of the speaker landscape. Tomorrow's when we're going to begin and start working on your profile and working on that signature product, which is your signature talk message, and how to get positioned for these paid engagements. The one thing that I always tell people is that, these challenges always present opportunities, because wherever your challenge is, that's where the opportunity lies. So if you don't know where to find engagements, okay, so then we need to figure out what databases are you looking into and what circuits are you a part of that's not giving you those introductions. If you're getting invitations all the time for free engagements but you're not getting paid, then we have a positioning issue where you have not positioned yourself as a paid speaker where people could pay you 5, 10, 15, 20K to come on stage to give your insights and expertise, okay? And so here are the challenges and how they become opportunities. So I already said this already. If you commented and said that you don't even know where to start, right? Where you're the challenge that you're facing, you don't know how to position yourself, you don't even know how to begin in this space called global speaking, you have a planning issue, and what you need is a roadmap to help you launch. And this is why this conversation, this bootcamp is so imperative, because I'm going to give you the awareness and the strategy you need to know how to begin positioning yourself for success. For those of you who commented one and said that, look, I can't find any speaking engagements, you have a visibility issue. Not only do you not know where to find speaking engagements based on the databases that are freely available for you to find events, there are millions of events happening every single year. So it's really sad when someone tells us that they can't find engagements, and also even more sad that they have not been able to create visibility for themselves. This is the conversation that you will have. It's like, how do we optimize your LinkedIn profile so that way you have better visibility with your profile, okay? For those of you who are like, listen, I'm in the circuit. People see me, people invite me, but I'm not getting paid and it's getting frustrating. You have a positioning issue. And the solution to that, we just got to create your signature talk. right? And then when we create your signature talk, then you have a proposal sheet that we could go to market with and find the right ideal clients, okay? For those of you who are finding 1 or 2 paid engagements, but it's not consistent, you have a pipeline issue, you do not have an outreach system where you are able to reach out to people, okay, and really articulate, hey, I'm open for business. I'm ready and available during these times in the year so that we can consistently get that market reach and visibility, okay? So with that said, these conversations we're going to have throughout this week, where today we're going to talk about specifically how to leverage public speaking opportunities to accelerate your career. Tomorrow, we're going to start positioning. So tomorrow, we're going to really look at your LinkedIn profile, how you're attracting opportunities, and we're going to talk about specifically where are you going to really position your talk. This is going to be the first time. Last year, I did not talk specifically about your signature talk, but tomorrow we're going to talk about not only your LinkedIn profile, but also how to really position your signature talk. If you don't have a signature talk, I'm going to help you create one literally within 15 minutes or less that's going to get you booked. And I'm going to share with you the top trends, what corporates are looking for, okay? We're going to look at what corporates are looking for to book you for these speaking engagements, okay? And my journey into this space is like before, here's where I made a couple mistakes in my speaker journey that I want you to avoid, which is why I'm on this mission of doing this bootcamp series every single year, because I recognize that a lot of people, again, are not being told this publicly. A lot of speakers, we're in the green rooms, we're conversing, we're having these conversations. Like, if someone doesn't tell you this, you're not going to know how to make strategic sense of any of this, okay? So one of the first things that I made, the first mistakes I made was only targeting event organizers. Now, I've spoken at every major stage on the planet. I've spoken in front of audiences, in front of like 10 people to as big as 10,000, 20,000 people, okay, in Malaysia and different parts of the world, right? I've traveled, and I'm constantly seeing other people come into the speaker circuit and doing the same mistakes. And I want to share with you, first and foremost, stop targeting the same event organizers, okay? The second thing that I'll share with you is when you're in a space where, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're in the corporate space, when I first started in the speaker circuit, I actually quit my corporate career, started my first business. And for those of you who are entrepreneurs, comment entrepreneur if you're an entrepreneur on the call. A lot of entrepreneurs are really good at branding their story and getting a lot of visibility. So I made the Forbes list within 2 years of launching my first startup. And my business got a lot of visibility. And I leveraged that visibility to also share insights about the product and service. So for example, a lot of you are entrepreneurs, you are experts in your domain in building that product or service. But you could be sharing at universities, at governments, at corporates, not only your journey of building that company and inspiring the next generation of entrepreneurs, which makes it a lot easier for you to get booked for speaking engagements. But the second thing that I will say that I learned in my journey is that a lot of you also, the domain expertise of building that company, it took marketing, it took business development, it took sales strategy for you to build that company. These are all expertise that you could also be known for and on the global speaker circuit for your role as an entrepreneur, right? People are now telling me who they are on the call as entrepreneurs. So this is two strategic positioning techniques. As an entrepreneur, you could take today to start closing paid speaking engagements. One, your experience building and growing a company from scratch. Universities and entrepreneurship programs are constantly looking for those stories and those journeys. Two, the domain expertise of building that company is also sought after amongst corporate institutions. That's the sales strategies, the marketing strategy, the business development strategy. So that's already strategy number one. If you are an entrepreneur on the call, you need to be able to leverage those two fundamental pathways to start getting booked for speaking engagements. The second thing that I will say is that, in my journey is that I've been featured on multiple media outlets around the world. My business is already a case study at Harvard Business Review. So there are business students around the world who are learning how to build businesses through my business. I've been featured in Entrepreneur Magazine, Forbes Magazine, Inc. Magazine, Atlantic Star, Black Enterprise, Essence. I've been featured in all the major media outlets. And one thing I will tell you is, when you have that visibility in media, for those of you who have been featured in media, how do you leverage that credibility to get to close speaking engagements? So this is one thing that I always tell people. The second mistake is not just leveraging mainstream media, but also the local blogs and features to say, hey, when you reach out to an organizer, I just been recently featured for my business or for my work at this institution, would love to come share that insights with you based on this article that was shared about me. Do you have an audience, maybe your classroom or your university or your clients, that could benefit from hearing from someone who's been featured in this article specifically regarding this subject, right? So leveraging press and media to also close speaking engagements is another phenomenal way to get booked for speaking engagements and using that global recognition. The third thing I will say, if you have any awards and accolades for any of the achievements that you've accomplished in your career, this is another thing to be able to leverage. So obviously being featured on the Forbes list is something that I've leveraged a lot. If you have not received global media mentions, I always tell people you got to start somewhere. There is some type of award or recognition that you receive. Leverage that recognition to say, hey, I'm out here doing great work. Would love to come to your audience and give that insight and information. Now, let's talk about the website, okay? Now, one thing that I did in my speaker career in the beginning is I had the website. And I thought having the website is going to get me booked even faster. But what you realize is that what's more important than the website is actually your LinkedIn profile. It wasn't until I doubled down on my LinkedIn profile that I got more traction on my website. So this is another mistake I want to address by leveraging my experience and bringing that to you, is that you still need the website to be professionally positioned for speaking engagements, like your landing page. However, you need to spend more time on your LinkedIn profile, and that's why tomorrow we're going to talk about your LinkedIn profile, than your website, because your LinkedIn profile is what creates the interactions and engagements and the connections that you need to build the credibility. And your website is just reinforcing and putting that all together. Really, your website serves as a professional catalog. It's not the end all be all that's going to get you booked. And this is a major thing that a lot of people don't know. And in the beginning of my career, I spent so much time doing my website, redoing my website, relaunching my website, readjusting my website with new pictures. What I didn't realize, all I needed was a basic landing page showing obviously my thought leadership, where I've been featured, my signature content, and that was it. Once you have the basic fundamentals of your website done, you do not need to do any more to it. Go to your LinkedIn, and that's where you dominate a lot of your energy, so that way you can build your credibility and momentum around your brand. Okay? So with that said, the fastest route to create authority as a public speaker now is through public speaking, right? And one thing that I would say is, when I look at my career journey of being a public speaker, whether I got featured in media outlets, awards, whether I got partnerships and visibility, public speaking has been the fastest route to create not only authority and momentum, but also creating immense amount of opportunity. I can't tell you, I've closed a lot of my investors and deals and clients and contracts in the green room, guys, right? Behind the scenes, backstage, behind the curtain. That's why I've closed a lot of my my deal flow for my businesses, for my brand. So this is more than just getting on stage to get paid to speak. This is a strategy for life to even close contracts and opportunities for your brand and for your business that creates long-term wealth and opportunity for you and your brand, okay? And so with that said, when my speaker career kicked off in 2014, I did my dues and I spoke at a lot of events for free. However, I turned a lot of these free engagements into paid opportunities because I was also selling courses, selling coaching and consulting sessions. So some of you are frustrated with free engagements. I still do a couple of engagements for free in a year. I have a quota for this. And this is something I'm going to teach you on day 3, how to strategically select engagements, the paid ones, but also if you do select a free engagement, how to turn it into a paid 6-figure opportunity. I've had free engagement opportunities that have turned into 6-figure opportunities for me and deal flow for me. And I can share with you that insight. So when my speaker career kicked off, I started meeting the right people. And like I said, behind those scenes, I was, obviously, connecting with the right people, closing the deals. And the first thing I will tell you is a lot of your first series of speaking engagements are going to come based on your identity. Maybe you as a female entrepreneur, maybe you as a digital skills domain expert. Like a lot of the things that you are already doing is already giving you credibility. Double down on that, because I've seen a lot of people, when they try to get into the speaker circuit, they try to reinvent themselves and force a new narrative based on the trend. Right now, AI is trending. I see a lot of people are just trying to rebrand themselves and re-strategize themselves. Don't be that person. Leverage what you currently have. Leverage the positioning that you currently have to really accelerate that credibility in the market. Okay? So, and of course, take pictures. One of my biggest regrets is that I didn't take more pictures and videos in the beginning. These are the things that if you are a global speaker, people need to see that credibility on your LinkedIn, that showcasing, even if it's you in action, talking to people, networking with people, have images and visuals, because we're going to talk about branding again tomorrow as well when it comes to how you brand yourself on LinkedIn. And these are some of the clients that I've worked with where I've spoken at their events, both publicly on global events or privately behind closed doors. And you can see the diversity. And this is the diversity I want to expose you to throughout this boot camp. Do not only speak for events, okay? If you're only targeting event organizers, you are going to frustrate yourselves into oblivion. You need to be speaking to corporate organizers. You need to be speaking to government organizers. You need to be speaking to universities. Like these are 3 different client buckets that are going to be teaching you how to address to close paid speaking engagements. I see so many people when they come in the speaker circuit, they go straight for the events, the tech events, the business events, the marketing events. They do not reach out to the corporates. They do not reach out to government institutions, and they do not reach out to universities. Stop it. You can tell from my past clients, I have a variety of clients, and if this is done strategically and purposely, so that when I am on these global stages, I'm on these global stages really because of these private conversations I'm having through my DMs, through my LinkedIn, through my email, to be able to close these deals. And that's what I want for you, okay? So public speaking engagements will accelerate your career and your credibility. And so the last thing I will share before I go into Q&A is that really thinking strategically about your goal for public speaking. Because if you know what you want to channel your public speaking engagements for, you're going to be more strategic, okay? More strategic about who to close and how to get them, okay? So first and foremost, I want to first talk to my entrepreneurs. What is your goal for public speaking? So one thing I would say is, as an entrepreneur and a serial entrepreneur, I post speaking engagements not only to get paid to speak on stage, but also for deal flow. I use it for lead generation for clients, institutional, contracts, deal flow, partnerships, and collaborations. And so if you are an entrepreneur on this call and you have not leveraged speaking engagements to close deal flow for your business, you are missing out. So this is one of the great goals of public speaking. Now, for those of you who are obviously experts in a specific field, you have experience, maybe you bid to launch a business, maybe you worked in the marketing department for your institution for several years, you want to do it for revenue, then you need to position yourself as an expert who knows their stuff, so that way people are paying you 5, 10K. I just saw someone just made a comment. Many organizers might ask the speaker to pay. Let me say this strategically right now. Never pay to speak. You're not a sponsor. You're not, an organizer. Never pay to speak. Okay? Right? So again, I'm seeing people are commenting 2 goals. You want deal flow and paid speaking engagements, right? So these are things that you're going to get when you position yourself. And probably the biggest thing I want to position many of you by the end of the boot camp is to see also how to actually position yourself to not only get paid to speak, but leverage speaking engagement to close deal flow, so that way you're pretty much creating multiple streams of revenue every time you get on stage. These are what we call empire builders, because you're not only doing lead generation, you also do revenue generation on multiple different fronts with your speaking engagement efforts, okay? So with that said, for today's session, I wanted to make sure that, you guys get an overview of 3 things. One, that the speaker circuit is in high demand right now. And what people are looking for in today's market is the following. One, we're no longer looking for experts. experts. I know this is a shocking thing that I'm sharing with you today, but people are no longer looking for experts. They're looking for experienced professionals who have a message that can either inspire, inform, motivate, or really take their audience to the next stage that they need to get them at. That's what we're looking for, because the experts of the past have not worked. So we're looking for experience. That's the first thing. The second thing that I shocked many of you today on today's session is that what we're also looking for is not someone who has a nice website and a nice speaker reel. What people are looking for is you having a signature talk, not having multiple topics that you're speaking on, but being known for one thing, which in a sense makes it a little bit easier for you. But for a lot of people find this hard selecting one. So the second thing that I revealed to you today, the second secret that I revealed to you today, was that you need to have a signature talk, okay, to be known for, so that way people could book you for speaking engagements and get paid for it. That signature talk has a message, has a brand, has a story, and this is what will get you booked. The third secret that I shared with you today is regarding the mere fact that many of you are targeting the wrong people for speaking engagements. Too many of you are targeting only event organizers at tech conferences, business conferences, and this is the reason why you're frustrated and going crazy that they're only accepting you for free engagements. I shared with you already. At the end of this bootcamp, I'm going to share with you 10 different profile organizers that you could be reaching out to be able to get closed for paid engagements. Universities, corporates, government institutions, private credit union institutions, banking institutions. Like, these people are on LinkedIn waiting for you to reach out because they are looking for you as well. Okay. So the third secret I revealed to you is to stop targeting event organizers and start targeting people with the actual budgets to pay you the 5, 10, 20K. And the fourth secret I share with you today is regarding the shift in the industry of targeting people who also are on LinkedIn. One of the biggest mistakes you could ever make is to think that your website is the only thing that's going to give you visibility and credibility and not leveraging LinkedIn. Notice I did not say Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, or any other social media outlets. I said LinkedIn because LinkedIn is where all the B2B corporate budget holders, people with the budget in the pockets to approve the budget for you to come be paid to speak at their program or at their institution, they're all on LinkedIn and they're actively DMing people to find people. So that's the fourth thing, leveraging LinkedIn. The fifth secret that you learned today on today's session, last but not least, is also understanding where's your challenges right now and how to get paid to speak. Really starts with you having the products ready to go with your signature talk, but also knowing your speaker fee. Some of you do not know what your speaker fee is and don't know how to position yourself in the market, okay? Maybe you don't know what emails to write, you don't know what DMs to write, you don't know what to say. This is going to be a conversation we're going to have later on this week on how to really position yourself with the right speaker fees. And these are 5 secrets that I shared with you during today's session to give you an overview of the landscape. Now, last but not least, like I said, the landscape has shifted. The economy has shifted. The cycles has accelerated. And speakers are still in high demand, okay? And so what you need to do to strategically position yourself with these paid opportunities is knowing who to target, having a product to position for yourself for success, which is a signature talk, and know how to position your LinkedIn profile so that way you can also attract opportunities. Those 3 things, and we're going to get those 3 things done this week. So with that said, as we transition and close out, I want to be able to answer as many questions as possible, because for many of you, what we're going to talk about this week is really an introduction to help you learn how to position yourself for success and get and close these paid speaking engagements. One of the things I want to share with you during today's session is once we talk about your position value statement tomorrow on LinkedIn, we're going to talk about your product, which is the collateral, which is your signature talk, and share with you how to get that out there so you can get positioned for speaking engagements throughout your journey throughout this week. And this is a secret that all the biggest speakers that you see today, They're known for one thing and they get booked constantly for that. Me, and myself included, I'm still to this day getting booked for the same signature talk, which is Entrepreneurship Without Borders. Tomorrow, I'm going to share you screenshots of how these opportunities are done. And of course, I've lost millions on the table waiting too long to really learn this strategy. And you're going to learn this strategy this week. So that way you're positioned for success. Okay. So let's answer a couple questions on the call. So this one is from Dr. Madison, who specifically would be the POC to reach out to. Great question. So if I'm reaching out to, and this is something that I'm going to share with you where we go over the LinkedIn session this week. If I'm reaching out to, let's say I want to reach out to universities, right, to speak at their alumni or their senior programs. The point of contact I'm going to reach out to is either someone in their HR department, someone in their alumni department, someone specifically who is handling the Entrepreneurship Center program, someone who's handling career services at that program, career training, career development. Like I just told you, 6 different departments at one institution that you could target to close paid speaking engagements. Again, I said career services, the HR department, the Entrepreneurship Center, alumni department, training and development. They have an Entrepreneurship Center. I just told you 6 just by looking at just one target client. Now, with that said, once you have a POC, what do you say, right? Some of you, I could give you 1,000 emails right now. Here are all the individuals who are currently closing speaking engagements. I tell you to send them a message, you don't know what to say, right? Now, her next question is, how do you leverage LinkedIn to attract corporate customers? Be here tomorrow, you're going to have that, okay? Tomorrow, we're going to speak specifically about how to leverage LinkedIn to attract corporate customers, and it's really position your profile. Some of you, if I go on your profile right now, it's not positioned, right? It's really confusing. You're listing your profile accolades like a resume and not really strategically for actual corporate clients and corporate bookings, and that's part of the problem. So tomorrow, Dr. Mahasan, we're going to go over that as well. All right, let's see a question. We got a question from Achi. How do you match your expertise and your unique message to the value? What is in demand in the corporate world? That's a great question. This is where we're going to talk about the signature talk on day 3, where let's say I'm going to give myself as a perfect example. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've built multiple businesses, okay? Multiple businesses. So clearly I've learned the art of building, growing, and scaling businesses. My signature talk that reflects my experience and expertise is called Entrepreneurship Without Borders: How to Build and Scale a Company with Limited Resources in a digital first world. That is my signature talk. I'm going to say that again. Entrepreneurship Without Borders: How to Build and Scale a Profitable Company excuse me, in a digital first world, right? That is my signature talk. So do you know who books me from that? Government institutions book me every time there's an entrepreneurship program or a festival, that a government institutional, a national program. I travel the world. I travel to Dubai, I travel to Ghana, I travel to Japan, I travel to so many different countries where the government, either the Ministry of Education, Ministry of Institution, Ministry of I've seen, Ministry of Commerce, right? Minister of Business, where they'll fly me into the country to teach their generation of small business owners how to do just that, how to build a business without borders, right? I've had universities book me, Ivy League institutions, Harvard, Columbia, Yale, reach out to me and say, Christine, can you come to our institution and teach how to, again, teach entrepreneurship without borders. I've had corporates come in and say like, hey, we're working on an accelerator program and we have, a cohort that really needs your feedback and expertise, and they book me to come in. That is me matching my expertise as an entrepreneur with my signature talk, which is titled Entrepreneurship Without Borders, to get booked from 3 different institutional clients. I just shared with you a government example, I shared with you a private example, and I shared with you a university example. Now, many of you probably are unaware of this. I have a coaching program where I share with you how to actually do this strategically, because I'm going to give you examples all week long. I'm going to do this over and over and over and share with you different examples of how to position yourself, how to title your talk, how to, articulate your brand message. But some of you need some more coaching and consulting where I can share with you and sit down with you over the course of a month through the Paid Speaker Accelerator program, where we're going to sit down and go over your entire career and see, okay, when I look at your career, you spent the past 10 years doing this. Why are you not going to market with this signature talk, right? I've seen, again, so many people, they're going to market with this brand message, but they're sleeping on this opportunity that's sitting right in front of them. So these are things that we'll talk about, not only during this week, but if you need more time where you need someone to actually look at your profile specifically and look at your journey, we can talk about that a little bit more. Now, we have another question here. I run a consulting practice and I'm looking to increase paid speaking engagements. Do I create 2 separate LinkedIn profiles, one for my business and one for speaking? So you're always going to need, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you're always going to need a LinkedIn profile for your business. That is obviously strategically, you need a brand for your business. However, to close speaking engagements, your LinkedIn personal profile is what's required because people are making personal relationships. So I think tomorrow is going to be a very powerful session for you guys because you guys are asking a lot of LinkedIn related questions, a lot of profile branding related questions. So tomorrow we're going to talk about that a little bit more, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile. So again, to answer your question immediately, the most important profile that you need to optimize is your LinkedIn profile, your personal LinkedIn profile. And tomorrow I'm going to share with you more insights on how to do that. Okay. All right. So we are out of time. Okay. But the biggest thing that I want to share with you guys is that, today was literally an overview. We are on, Easter Monday, getting you guys to be positioned to really make sure that you understand that the speaker landscape has shifted, it has changed, but there's so much demand for all of you right now that it's not even funny. And I want to make sure that I help you strategically with that journey. So tomorrow, let's talk about tomorrow. Tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to position your personal brand to attract speaking engagements opportunities, specifically using LinkedIn. We're going to talk about your LinkedIn profile. We're going to talk about how to optimize it. And then we're going to talk about how to create a signature talk that you're going to put on your LinkedIn profile. So when speaking event organizers are looking for people to book, they know how to find you. And even when they're doing their search engine search, you come up in search results for what they are looking for. So we're going to talk about that strategically tomorrow. Okay. And then on day 3, obviously, we're going to continue. We're going to talk about the best places to find engagements and how to set your price. Some of you don't know how to set your speaker fee for your profile. So we'll talk about that. Then we're going to talk about how to leverage a live event and how to prepare yourself for that and how to turn that into more opportunities. And then I'm going to tell you how to really turn pretty much your expertise and your experiences into a full-fledged speaker business, because I generate 6 figures per year just through speaking engagements alone. So it is literally a part of my revenue streams. And so I'm going to share with you how to actually expand from getting 1 or 2 gigs to actually making a strategic thing that you're doing on a regular basis, so that way you have an official booking business where you're booked on a regular basis, virtually or in person, for your profile. Okay. So that is today, guys. Tomorrow we have a lot of intense more to come through. We saw a couple people ask for the workbook. The team is going to email it to you again. Keep a lookout. Same time, same place. Tomorrow we might go a little bit over. It's supposed to be from 12 to 1. We might go into 1:15 because I'm going to select a couple people at random to do LinkedIn audit profiles. Okay. So tomorrow, be prepared. If you want me to audit your LinkedIn profile, tomorrow is when we're going to get that done as well. Okay. So with that said, thank you so much, guys, for joining me on day 1. Today was supposed to be an easygoing day just to get your foot wet, to get you to understand how the speaker circuit works. So you understand, strategically how people are generating revenue. And then tomorrow, we're going to dive right in. It's going to get very intense. So come, please, with your workbook ready to go. We're going to, I am going to be live calling a couple people to ask them questions, answer their questions, and do live audits. So looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you so much, everyone.